Hey guys, I'm Ted and I'm here to give you another fast fact. And for this fast fact, we're going to discuss the confusions about the progressives. And the confusions over progressivism are justly understandable. It was never a unified movement. The progressive movement incorporated many different groups with many different beliefs, and they all had different roles that they played during the movement. And this is most clearly reflected by the legislative acts and the constitutional amendments that were passed during the progressive era. The constitutional amendments, the 16th, the 17th, the 18th, and the 19th, those constitutional amendments, they established the income tax, the direct election of senators, prohibition, and of course, voting rights for women. Um, they they alone illustrate that this was not a unified movement. You had four different groups coming together, pushing this agenda, and largely having the agenda passed during this era. Um, and the amendments alone don't really end the sort of question marks that swirl and the confusions that swirl around the progressives. The amendments alone lead you to wonder what could did this group possibly have in common, but you also have to sort of pause and not draw your conclusions. Then you also have to take into effect the legislative pieces that Congress the major legislative pieces that Congress and the state legislature passed, and these pieces of legislation ranged from the first income tax. Although this was overturned by the Supreme Court, it still has to be noted that the first income tax acts and so forth were passed during the progressive era. You also have to look at the bills that were passed that regulated the railroads, the antitrust legislation, the Pure Food and Drug Act. The Federal Reserve was created during the time or created under Woodrow Wilson. Attacks on civil liberties, particularly those attacks on Eugene Debs, that resulted in Debs being jailed and forced to run a presidential campaign from behind bars. And of course, the immigration and racial hygiene laws. All of these have to be taken into consideration when we look at the confusion over what the progressives stood for, who they were, and what they were all about. Um, when really looking at the progressive era, we have to see it more as uh, we had to see it more as a search or a quest for order after the unfathomable and the really unimaginable shakeup of society, of American society, in the wake of industrialization. The old order has been gone. Agrarianism was on the path to well, not really extinction, but just on the fast track to being a not even a secondary or a minor, but a very cursory player in the republic. Um, Urban life was taking place. The nation hadn't really had any of the mechanism to cope with any of these social upheavals, with the labor movements, with this very wide, this very big wealth gap, um, the influx of these new peoples that they had to try to fit in, and of course the rising tide of social movements, homegrown social movement that needed to be addressed. The progressive era largely served as a quest, has an attempt by the republic to sort of answer those questions, to sort of fill those needs. We're not done with progressive era. There's still a lot more to be said on it, but this is a quick, fast fact on trying to understand the confusions about about the progressive era and the progressive figures. It can be a terribly confusing subject to tackle. It can be a terribly confusing um, uh, it can be terribly confusing just to try to wrap your mind around all the concepts and how and why these different and competing ideologies sort of came together, sort of came to be grouped under this one umbrella. Anyway, that's my quick fast fact. I am Ted. Hit like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what your thoughts on progressivism are. If you're bewildered by the staggering differences between the proponents of progressive ideas, and if you think that that they should all be grouped under this one umbrella. As always, I'm Ted, and I'll see you guys next time for another fast fact. Hit like, subscribe, and leave your comments.